when all was said and done, I don't think he hadn't yet been tried, so it wasn't all said and done. But after we get to, and we'll get to this, but he got arrested. I had an interview with his lawyer, Mark Agnifilo. It was contentious.
Yes, we saw that.
I forgot about that.
Yeah. Remember that?
Can we cuss?
And
I don't think
Is it okay to curse on here? Because
yeah, you can curse.
BS.
Yeah.
Oh,
That was bullshit. I was pissed after that.
I was so grateful for you though for asking the tough questions.
Yeah, that was great.
Yeah.
You were like,
'Cause
seriously, Mark?
He was like, "This is
Yeah, we
New
were-
York.
we were
We don't
fist
do
pumping for you."
slavery here. What do you mean? We pick ourselves up. We're strong. New Yorkers are." I'm like, "Okay, you can be strong and be sexually manipulated, as the women are alleging here." He was like, "What do you mean? The New York jury's not going to buy that." Well, okay. So here's a little clip where I got into it with him about what an amazing, accomplished man Keith Raniere supposedly was. Check it out. About Keith Raniere and his tenuous relationship with the truth. He claimed he graduated from high school and started RPI at age 16. That's not true.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know when he started.
He claimed he could make full sentences by the age of 1.
If exaggerating about one's resume is a crime, I think we're all in trouble.
No, I'm not.
I'm probably not either, but
Yeah.
other than the two of us.
This guy is a liar. He has a long history of lying about himself and his achievements, including his time at RPI, where he was a 2.2 GPA and not a triple major who set records at the school.
That doesn't worry me in the least.
No?
No.
Oh my God.
Well, it should.
My hero.
My favorite line is, "No, I'm not." And he's like, "Yeah, no, me neither."
I know. Actually, none of us really do that. That was like 19-year-old stuff.
Oh, that
Okay,
was
so
so
you're-
great, Megyn.
You meet him. He's not the brightest bulb. Even you were kind of like, I don't get it. Is this the genius? But okay, But the women around him seem to have been really on, and men too, but like on and kind and warm and offering something. So it wasn't all about him, Sarah. Is that correct?
Well, I want to add one
Yeah, go ahead,
caveat
Nippy.
here. Just
Yeah.
it's important. Like, it's easy to sit back in hindsight and make fun of it and kind of distance ourselves from what we had fallen for. I will say, for me personally, I was all in on the curriculum. I was all in what I thought we were doing. So one of the things that I don't like is when people don't own what they fell for and try to distance themselves from, like, I fell for this, and it kind of minimizes the story and the magnitude of what can happen. For me, I was somewhat evangelical about, like, hey, these are ethics. These are changing the world. Yes, I thought Keith was weird, but I was hook, line, and sinker bought into what we were doing, and not totally sold on Keith, but like didn't think there was bad things going on there in the way that they were. So I think it's important to own that that's, how I got myself into the situation and not minimize the fact that I did fall for this thing.
Yeah,
It's easy
yeah.
to laugh at now. So anyway, I just
No, I get it.
think
You
it's
were
important.
fooled.
'Cause I don't want to
Yeah.
punch down on people that are in that situation, because I do think you have to go take the bite out of that and really lean into it to understand what happened to you. So
Mhm.
it's fun and kidding, but and just putting that out there.
Yeah. And it's therapeutic to laugh after the fact, too.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. I have plenty of
I would not
laugh for that, guys.
be through this trauma if it wasn't for the way that Nippy and I can laugh about it and continue to. But to answer your question, I think for me it's a little different. Even though he was a schlub and I wasn't attracted to him, I was greatly respectful of what I thought that he built.
Right.
I thought his mind created this tech, which is another red flag, by the way. The curriculum, it's not a technology, but we had been so changed by it, and I thought that came from him. And I obviously now know that he stole that from a number of other modalities that already exist and packaged it as his own. But then he was also propped up by these women that seemed to have their lives together and people that I really liked and respected. So I was getting so many of my social and emotional and spiritual needs met very, very quickly. Community, meaning, I was helping myself. I was growing, but I got to help others. I got to give people the transformational experience that I was getting, which totally filled my cup. I felt special. I got taken under the wing of women that I really looked up to, and they were going to help me grow. And also it was measurable. The Straight Path, the martial arts system of growth, was so different than acting, which is what I'd been doing before, which is, you never know if you're going to book work or not book work. And now I knew I could just do boom, 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 and I would evolve. Like, that's what a great promise. I didn't, again, like Nippy said, I underestimated that how much bullshit that actually was. But if it was what it said it would have been amazing.
I know. I'm ready to sign up right now. I hear you, and I'm like, yeah, I want it all. And so you and he interacted quite a bit in the show The Vow, which was on HBO, which is an excellent documentary about all of this and how he went down. Has this scene of you and Keith, Sarah, you and Keith interacting as part of like your training. We've cut a little bit of it just to give the audience a flavor. It's shot 2.
I keep drawing a blank.
That's okay. And I know I'm giving you unbearable grief.
It's okay.
But if you could do it here, you can do it in New York.
I know, I should know this. All right. Who's ready to have fun? Yeah? All right, okay. So, in order to have fun, we don't want anyone to get hurt. Right?
No, not fun enough. Who here is here to have fun? Fun? Yeah. Come on. Fun? Yeah.
Okay.
You should be trying to turn up their energy level.
Okay.
When the audience gives you the signal that they got it, you move, you move, you move.
This is actually good. I mean, I'm listening to him like, that's all good advice, I think.
He was teaching basic rapport skills of how to like lead a group in the room. But I haven't actually seen that since The Vow came out. I forgot how painful that was, A, to watch, and B, in the moment. And that was actually one of the only times I was ever trained by Keith personally in sales. And
all I could think of was how beautiful you are. You're so beautiful. Like your angle, the angles of your face, and the earnestness of you standing up there actually trying to learn it. And I see it though, like he's charming, and what he's saying to you makes sense of how to relate to a crowd. He's actually trying to improve you. Mm-hmm. He's trying to improve you, I think, to sell his products and get more buyers into his cult. No?
Yeah.
Yes, but also he was humiliating me. I don't remember if you see it in the whole clip, but like he pushed me and pushed me and pushed me, trying to get me to break down, and I refused to cry. And at the end, he gave me a little crumb and said, "Good job." And that's when I remember, like looking back, that's how he controlled so many of the women. He was always humiliating them, subtly under the guise of trying to develop them, and then would give them these little crumbs of attention and affirmation that they were on track. And that he didn't really mess with me much, mostly because I think I was out in Vancouver just bringing new, fresh students to him. So he didn't do that a lot with me, but that was a particular painful moment that I'd actually completely forgot about till I saw The Vow and was horrified.
I also don't think you were susceptible in the same ways.
I was not susceptible in the same ways. Well, we've since learned mostly through our podcast and interviewing other, survivors and experts, especially experts on gaslighting and narcissism and cults, that a lot of these guys really look for, it's such I hate to use the word, but like daddy issues, but like a bad attachment with their father in some case, or not good attachment with the parent. So then Keith would step in and be that father figure to a lot of these women. To grow them, to coach them, similar to how he was doing with Allison in that clip. He never reached me in that way. Partly, I think, because I have a great relationship with my dad and strong attachment, if you believe in those theories, with my parents. So, he got me in other ways, but not that way, thank goodness. And also, being with Nippy long-term protected me, and which I think also infuriated him, knowing what we know now.
Yes. Oh God, I can relate to all of this too. I was just thinking, like, when Roger Ailes started to feel like I was getting out from under his thumb, and I was not, just going to do whatever he wanted me to do or say whatever he wanted me to say, he started to insult me, like a fair amount behind the scenes to try to, cut down my confidence. And I don't know if I'd identified that. I was just sort of attributed it to anger, but you're giving me a new way to think of it almost, it's a manipulation almost, like to change you so that you'll go back to the way you were.
There's a term negging. I don't know if you've heard it. And I don't know the book.
N-E-G?
It's called the game. It's from the game.
And the idea is, as I understand it, is I'll give you a little bit of approval so it feels good. And then you'll always be chasing that approval.
And then also you would start, and so like the person, it's actually a dating
it's
training for men
to
try to get women, like men who can't just like date women normally would learn this way of like, yeah, it's basically dropping these little breadcrumbs of approval, but then also the negging is sort of like it's an insult. These little insults.
It's like establish interest and then take it away so that you'll want it more.
It's why you see sometimes women with these men, you're like, what is going on there? Because they're like giving, it's almost like a microcosm of sex trafficking and grooming. It's love bombing.
Yeah,
and
we've had
then
a couple episodes where women have described this
valuing,
the cult of one. We've had some episodes where people have described this strategy where men target women, find their vulnerabilities and exploit it in that way. And depending on, I'm kind of out of my lane here. But depending on your attachment, say with, a loved one or previous loved one or something like that, they recognize now that you might be vulnerable to that strategy. And if not, you might be vulnerable to another one. So and this is how they operate, and this is how they work, and this is how they filter a room. I think they can walk into a room, according to some interviews we've had, and spot the person just by the way they look, by they carry themselves, because they have so much intel and such a body of work on people that they can kind of scan a room and go, this person probably is susceptible to this, and this.
Being in debt is like sinking in quicksand. You're trapped. You feel helpless, and the harder you struggle, the deeper in debt you can get. If you're trapped in debt, let me throw you a lifeline. Done with Debt. Done with Debt has created a new strategy with one goal in mind: to get you out of debt quickly and permanently. Done with Debt stands between you and your bill collectors, and then they negotiate a plan to end your debt permanently, without bankruptcy and without loans. They can get you out of debt quickly and put more cash in your pocket monthly. But you need to contact Done with Debt soon, because some debt solutions expire. It's easy to get started. You go to donewithdebt.com and get a free consultation. What do you have to lose? Talk with one of their experts about a strategy that will end your debt faster and easier than you thought possible. Visit donewithdebt.com. That's donewithdebt.com. Hey, thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.